Hello, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We're going to go ahead and get started as people slowly come on in. Just a reminder, please use the Q&A feature, excuse me, if you have any questions, and let's go ahead and get started with Virtual Agent Academy. So before we get to the main topic today, just a reminder to visit our community website. There's a quick link right there on the top of the slides. There you can explore best practices and update content, use the experience of others, and ask questions and give answers yourself. If you're watching this via YouTube, don't forget to hit the like or subscribe button. There you can see more other Academy videos, as well as view this Academy video in the future to rewatch. Just as a reminder, we do have other Academy sessions. Check out our community page and that YouTube channel for more Academy videos we have on things such as mobile academies and HR as well. Cool. So our topic is engaging users with the virtual agent on traditional service channels. And my name is Victor Chen, and with us today is Scott Rhodes, who is the product manager for Virtual Agent. So a quick agenda, we're going to do a quick overview, and then Scott's going to do an exercise on our feature, and then we'll wrap up with Q&A, and we will have Q&A throughout. So the question we're going to try to answer today is, can the virtual agent resolve an incident before it reaches a live agent? And the answer to that is yes, because we have a feature in Quebec called Incident Auto Resolution, which provides a proactive virtual agent experience to resolve tasks submitted on non-conversational service channels. So what does that mean? Let's say you have users that are submitting incidents or creating incidents from traditional service channels, such as email or phone. What we find in our customers today is that a lot of incident management or incidents tickets are created and driven mostly by those channels, phone, email, etc. So an incident gets created, and what's great about incident auto resolution is that it will look at that incident and determine, can a virtual agent resolve this issue without a live agent before it gets to a live agent? So what it does is that the feature Incident Auto Resolution identifies a virtual agent topic that matches the intent of your users' submitted incidents. And the following intents are supported. And these are what we determined to have been 4 very popular topics that incidents are created on: printer issues, VPN connectivity, hardware, and reset password. And then what will happen is that a user will receive a notification in their channel. For example, here in the screenshot, I see Microsoft Teams, and it'll actually say, hey, you created an incident. Would you like help now? And if they click yes, we will run a virtual agent topic. If the user prefers a live agent, we can route them to a live agent as well. And then once the virtual agent topic is finished, the user will then have the opportunity to say whether or not that topic or that conversation helped them, so that companies can gauge how effective this incident auto resolution feature is. If this sounds interesting and exciting for you, that's because it is. But in terms of requirements, you do have to be on the Quebec release. And you also require both the virtual agent plugin as well as the ITSM virtual agent conversation plugins. So this is only available for these 4 intents, which are IT related. But of course, in the future, we will release more intents and perhaps span more subjects. So with that introduction, I'm going to turn it over to Scott. Scott, are you there?
Hi, everyone. Thanks there, Victor. So I'm going to go show you a couple demos here. And really, one is going to be the actual use case of the feature in action here. And then I'll kind of go through the configuration of how we set this up. So today, we're just going to go through the portal as a normal user. And we have user Milton here. Milton's stubborn that he does things kind of his old ways. And even though the company's rolled out virtual agent, he's very hesitant to use it. So we want to get Milton on board comfortably to use virtual agent. So going through the portal, Milton has an issue with his printer. So he's just going to do the normal going through the portal. He's going to create an incident. And he's going to go in here and he's going to say, my printer is not working, and submit this as a case. So at this point, he has submitted this incident. It's briefly assigned here to virtual agent. And what that means is, from the virtual agent side of things, it's looking, the ML model is being looked at and see, is this incident matching to an intent that's supported One thing I'm going to do here while it's waiting is I'm actually going to show on the left-hand side this incident to show you what happens to it. And we can actually see this incident right here. So I'm actually going to open this. All right. And like I was explaining before, is once this incident was created, what's happening is we assign briefly this incident to virtual agent because it's going to be matching and seeing if this intent that's on here can be discovered and if it's an intent that's supported by issue auto resolution. And you can see in the notes here that the virtual agent is working a task. That's great. That means that it did have an intent on it. So in this case, when it's triggered that it did find an intent, it's going to send a notification. I'm demoing Teams, but it can work for Slack. It actually works for the web client itself too. But you can see here that now that the intent's found, we send a notification out to Milton. So Milton sees in his Teams that he has a car and it says, hey, you know, it looks like you filed an incident here, and I think I can help you right here on this incident. So you can see the incident details, a little bit of the summary here, and it's asking Milton saying, do you want me to help you with this now or no, wait for a human? So if I choose to wait for a human, all this does at this point is it will remove virtual agent as the owner, as the assigned to on the incident itself. And then it'll just be your normal process of however you assign your incidents, whether that's using manual or whether it's using advanced work assignment. It's just the normal process. If I say, yes, help me now, what this is going to do is it's going to trigger the topic that was matched by that intent. So in this case, I'm going to say, yes, help me now. And at this point, it's launched. We're in the topic, the VA topic that was identified, and it's saying which type of issue. Well, you know, this is a printer one. We'll just go something basic, like it's a printer is out of paper. It's going to show him some knowledge things to go through and requesting paper, and it's going to say, you know, did these steps work for you? So at this point, we're still in the virtual agent topic that was launched, and we're going to say yes. Now, what happens at this point is once the VA topic ends, there is what we call a wrapper topic for issue auto resolution that then it comes back to this issue auto resolution wrapper topic and says, there's anything else you need to do related to this ticket, I can keep it open. So at this point, if I say no, close it, it's actually going to close that incident. It's going to put the notes in there and it never went to a human. If I say yes, keep it open, maybe this topic didn't help me. Maybe I need some more information. If I say yes, keep it open, it's going to keep the incident open. It's going to remove virtual agent the owner, and then it's going to be assigned as your normal process here. In this case, I'm going to do the happy path. I'm going to say no, close it. So this is saying, awesome, I closed it, check in next time with me on VA. So we've kind of given Milton here the ability to use VA, even though he didn't go directly to VA. He went through the incident itself, and then from our side, we've kind of deflected this incident and never actually went to a human. So I'm going to open this screen a little bit bigger here. And this is the incident that I opened before, and I'll just kind of walk you through because you can see what happened on this ticket is when it was filed, VA is working on it. It's showing that this topic was started. On hold in progress. What happens too is we do set the state to on hold while it's going through this process in case of needing to know or wait on the user, because obviously when you send notifications out, it could be an asynchronous process. Maybe Milton gets back in an hour, 2 hours. That's why you kind of hold it on hold to show that the incident is still being worked on. Your question might be like, well, what happens if it sits there, for a day or two? We do get to the configuration. I'll kind of point out we do have SLAs to force items to be moved on if they're not worked on. So you can see here that the topic was completed. We set it from on hold to resolved. We put in the resolution code, some resolution notes here. It's the incident was resolved by virtual agent. And why is the user decided to close the issue since the topic resolved the issue. So you do get that full history of what happened to this incident as it went through the process of issue auto resolution. So how did I configure this? What we would do here is we would go to, this new module, incident auto resolution. So under issue auto resolution, we have setup, configuration, and intent analytics. Under configuration is you really have today that we only support this for incident. Now, in the future, we are looking at expanding this to cases and other objects within ServiceNow, but in Quebec and Rome, it's only incident. So you'll only see incident at this point. Under this incident configuration, you'll have what conditions qualify for this item to be picked up by issue auto resolution. And we do, when you do install issue auto resolution and the ITSM app, store app, this actually loads this configuration automatically. So out of the box, it's saying that if the incident was created with a contact type of email or self-service. So you could theoretically expand this. You'll notice explicitly we don't say virtual agent because we don't want to have somebody create an incident within virtual agent that automatically goes right back to virtual agent and creates this loop. So we explicitly do not use virtual agent in these, but email self-service, but you could theoretically use walk-in if you want, or phone, or whatever your contact type you want. Underneath that too is the notification user. This is simply who do we consider the user, because this could change in the future. If for incident, it's caller, but other objects, let's say cases, could be opened by or different use cases. So we're kind of really set this to be a platform feature that can be built on in the future. And then underneath that, you can see the task SLA. So this is what I was talking about, that when we send that notification, it might be responded to, it might not be responded to. I don't want to hold up that incident from being worked on for a long period of time. So the SLA out of the box is 2 hours. So what happens if that notification is not completed, or let's say the topic is not completed within 2 hours, we'll automatically remove virtual agent on the ticket itself, and then it'll go to be assigned to a user. But this is configurable, like how much time do you want to give the incident before it needs to go to a human agent to work on. Then you'll have here, which is these templates. The templates are simply used for as the process goes through, when to make changes to the fields, when to add the notes, and that's what's held in these templates. So based on if the issue is unresolved as going through, or the topic is completed in the resolution template in terms of what was resolved, this is what sets those field values. So when you showed that, we set certain field values, that's all controlled under these templates itself here. So this is the configuration of how we did things. Now I can kind of show a little bit of how we set this up. This is using machine learning. And so there is a machine learning model. It's important to point out that this model is issue auto resolution model. This is not the same model as the VA NLU model. So just to be clear, these are two different models. So you might ask, why am I training them 2 different times? It's because these are 2 different models. So before I can even use issue auto resolution, I do need to train this model out of the box here. One thing I will point out is I am demoing an instance that has Rome feature. So I will point out some things that do not exist in the Quebec release. One thing in Quebec is we only support English, so you can't really train by language. So I will point out this is a difference between Quebec and Rome. I'll get to the roadmap side, so I'm going to explain what's happening in Rome to get to that. But when you go through, you quite simply just need to train the model. It'll go through. In terms of retraining, because this model does get better over time as you add more data, you can set up different retraining frequencies here if you want. You don't have to. You could always manually retrain when you want at your point, but that is a possibility. Now, in terms of when the intent is identified and what topic does it launch to, there's in Quebec a couple ways to handle this, in the sense that whether you as a customer have VA NLU enabled or you don't have it enabled. So if you do not have VA NLU enabled, you will see this tab here that says intent to topic map. This intent to topic map is seeded with the ITSM VA store app. So these mappings between this intent and this topic are mapped there. Now you can change which topics are mapped to these. Now, as Victor discussed before, in terms of what intents are supported in Quebec, there's only 4. So if I go to this list, you'll only see these 4 intents. We are planning to add more in the future. In fact, Rome will have more intents supported, but in Quebec, these are the 4. So you can change these. So if you do not have VA NLU enabled, you will see this tab intent to topic map. If you do use VA NLU, the mapping's a little bit different. You won't see this tab. Where you would actually set this up would be under virtual agent itself. When you have your topic, you under the properties would have your NLU piece here. It would be looking at the intent here to map to. So this is one important thing to look at in Quebec. That's if you have VA NLU, the way it maps intent is differently if you don't. So just be aware of this. Okay, so that's how I set it up. It's meant to be very simple. Once you have the configuration set up, there's one thing to point out here is we do have this setup piece. This setup piece is enable auto resolution feature. Really, there's only one simple thing here. Think of this as like the main shut off. Is if I want to turn the feature on or off, I can do that here too. So now that I've kind of configured it, I showed you how you use it. How do you measure this? So in Quebec, one thing in terms of looking at what has been done is we do under incident auto resolution, we have this intent analytics. And these analytics are meant to give you feedback in terms of the intent matching to the topic itself. So I can see these incidents that are opened, and I can kind of configure which data I want underneath here, is how many of them had an intent that matched the topic, intents with a matching topic, how many of them had intents without a matched topic. So this could be that we do identify an intent, but there's no topic that's mapping it. So like if you had your mapping, you didn't have it set, or maybe it was inactive, the topic itself, you could see these kind of details here. And then you have the intents with auto resolution topics, disabled topics. So this means it found an intent, it found a topic, but the topic was inactive. So we do capture these things because these things over time, you could say, hey, maybe I'm not using password reset today, but we're finding a lot of it matches, but the topic's disabled. This can kind of give you that feedback. And these kind of give you over time what has happened with these intents, and then also breaking down by the categories. So we have two places really where you can see in Quebec this intent matching, but now you might want to go, well, what happened once I got in these conversations here? Like what happened when in an issue auto resolution topic started? Did the conversation complete? Was it successful? Did it close? Like I don't see this here. And where you would go to see this would be under actually the VA dashboard, is under the conversational analytics. You will find a section in here that has issue auto resolution metrics. So if I go into the usage here, you'll see issue auto resolution here. So I could see over this time period, how many of the conversations, how many were resolved, unresolved, and I can drill down to this and see some differences here. So this is just kind of showing of all the conversations, how many were there, how many were resolved, how many of the notifications were accepted, declined, how many of them timed out. And then here it's kind of showing you of those conversations, what was the topic on these. So this data has only one, so sorry, I don't have a filled out data. But the difference is the intent shows the intent. This one shows the conversation. I will point out in Rome, this will be a little bit easier in Quebec, is we do have all the analytics, whether they're in intent or conversations, all under the VA dashboard. So we made that improvement in terms of there's one single place. So this is in Quebec that you would see this intent piece. So I think that kind of covers it here. Thanks, Victor. So in Rome, items that we have coming up for this feature is first is we're adding a simulation module. So the simulation module will allow you to test out the issue auto resolution features with past data. So you can say, I want to run this intent matching against, let's just say last month's or 2 months, whatever you specify as data, to say, hey, how many of them did we find intents and how many of them did we have intents that match to a topic? This can kind of give you a way to test out to see how many of these incidents you could possibly deflect based on your current data. So simulation is a really nice way of testing out the feature before actually implementing it in your production. The next piece is we are expanding the languages that are supported. You'll notice it says controlled support. This is because you won't get it out of the box, but you can enable it through support channels for French, Spanish, German, and Japanese. The reason they're controlled support is we really want to be hands-on with customers that are looking at using these languages. So it's just a mechanism for us to be sure that you're getting the best service in terms of enabling multi-language there. The other piece is coming back to an intent to topic mapping. I explained how there's two different ways in Quebec. There's with VA NLU enabled and without. We wanted to simplify this in terms of going forward. And the tab that I showed you says intent to topic mappings. It'll be maintained exclusively in issue auto resolution configuration. So you will always have that tab enabled for the intent to topic mapping. That's where you would do it. You don't need to go back and forth between VA topics to set that. So those are the three main enhancements that we're making to the feature in Rome. All right, Victor.
All right, thanks, Scott. Thank you for the exercise and everything. Again, this is a powerful feature. We hope we all use it after seeing it. We do have some poll questions for you, the audience. And while we do that, let's answer some questions. There's a lot that came through during the exercise, which is great. Thank you for them. So Scott, if you don't mind, we're just going to do some quick fire questions while we do the poll. Bamidale asks, what if user ignores the notifications that they would like VA to help? This is about, will the ticket not be pending? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I did see earlier that you do have an SLA, right? So what happens once that SLA is crossed? Does it go to a user? An agent?
Yeah, so what happens when the SLA is met is it will stop the notification from being active. So that active is the notification, even if they click on, is no longer active. They'll actually get a message if they do click on the notification saying that this has expired and it's gone to a live agent. So the user would not be able to click on the notification. And then the assign to on the incident itself is removed. So however you handle your routing of incidents today, we just kind of take over, whether that's using Now Intelligence for setting the assign group or advanced work assignment for assigning to an agent, that would just kind of take over at that point.
Cool, thanks. And there were questions about the NLU model being used. Is it the same model as the traditional NLU virtual agent models, correct?
It's different.
Okay.
Issue auto resolution has its own model. The main reason for this model is because incident data is different in terms of tickets, in terms of the inputs and utterances, is that it tends to be more long form when you're submitting incidents as opposed to in VA NLU of doing short kind of utterances there. So they are two different models.
Got it. Thank you. And then Paul asks, hey, he's loving the 4 out-of-box topics, but are there going to be more? And if so, when? Do you have a sense of that?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the specific ones that are coming up in Rome, but I believe there's 8 additional ones that are being added. I can definitely, if somebody wants to follow up, can give you those as they go through, because these are ITSM enabling these. So that's why I don't want to comment to the specific ones, but it's something that, if you want to get what's coming in Rome, definitely you can follow up on that. But I believe there's 8 additional ones coming in.
Okay. Yeah. So Paul, to the Paul who asked the question, stay tuned. I think as we deliver more information about Rome and such forth, we could definitely expand on that list and provide you the information. A couple anonymous questions. I'm just going to scan through these topics. So one anonymous question, working backwards here, how do we select which topics are ideal type of incidents for auto resolution? I would imagine that these topics are pre-selected. These are just the 4 live topics, right?
Yeah, so the mappings out of the box that are established are by the ITSM store app. So those are the ones that they've deemed the ones that would be the best. I can give some general guidance in terms of what kind of topics you'd want to use. You really want your topics that you would map to be not nested, meaning like they're going to spawn off and create additional incidents. So you'd want to kind of tailor them to being like, if this topic is used for issue auto resolution, it's kind of self-encapsulated, meaning like it's going to solve a problem and then it's just going to say, did it help or not? Because if you're going to have it spin up other incidents, it's going to get nested. It can get really kind of hairy at that point. So you want to keep it very simple on these topics and in how they work.
Cool, thanks, Scott. Another question from Ken. I'm not sure. Let's see. Let me ask you, Scott, and let me know if you have what you think. Is there an API for this, or is it just like incoming call feature?
Hmm. Not sure how to answer that one. I mean, if you provide
Okay.
more details, Kate, maybe we can help you on that. I mean, there's no specific APIs for this.
Yeah. So basically, what in general, like this is a feature native to ServiceNow. It's not like we can provide an API to port this into another messaging channel or service. So yeah, definitely take a look at it in your own instance. Great. Well, that was a lot of questions, but they're all very good. Thank you, Scott, for those for answering those. If you haven't already, please fill out the poll. And then at the end of this session, we will have an email survey. So please take a look at that survey, because that helps us, not only our guest speakers go to not only our speakers get more information and feedback, but also gives us, virtual agent team, feedback on these academies and future academies. Don't forget, as I mentioned earlier, we have the Mobile Academy, which is next Tuesday, and we also have an HR Academy coming in very soon, I believe later this month, if I'm not mistaken. So be on the lookout for that. Check out the HR community website for more information. Great. If there are no other questions, thank you again, Scott. Thank you for all the attendees,
Sure.
and as well as all our audience members. And we will catch up with all of you very soon in coming up the following, not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday for a more Virtual Agent Academy. Thank you, everyone.